Hello, hello, William. Testing the audio, sound. Hello, everyone. Anyone can hear me? Please confirm if the sound is okay and the video. So, guys, we're gonna wait a few minutes so people are still coming. We are gonna. Today is Monday, 3 minutes to 7 p.m., October the 14th. We are starting a new chat from the area Valai Faz languages. Today's chat is gonna be in English. If you guys want to start with any questions, be my guest. And let's just wait a few minutes so we can get started. So guys, this is our second chat. The first one last week was about, I talk a little bit how I learned English in my life and French. If you guys want to check it out, the other chat, you can come here at the menu. You can come in Galleria, where you're gonna have access to all the videos in the Bastter website. And if you come here, you're gonna see the first chat. Valai Fala, welcome to the new area. This was the chat of last week. So today, in the beginning here, we're gonna let the chat to be a free topic. You guys can ask anything for me. And later on, I'm gonna do a little presentation about beer. Okay? Bière, pivo. The first one here is in English. Okay, the second one is in French. The third one is in German. Here is in Russian, and then in Polish. but the pronounce is the same. Of course, if in Russian you don't have this vocabulary, right? It's another, uh, it's a different uh, letters, but the pronunciation it's like that. It's pivot. I guess all countries that I travel about Eastern Europe, you have like the same pronunciation for beer. So they are gonna spell different, but the pronounce is gonna be the same. Pivot. One of the few words that I know how to speak in Russian. Hi, good evening, Fabio. Good evening, Diego. Good evening, Patrick. Good evening, William. We're gonna talk today a little bit about beer. Uh, if you guys have any questions about anything, you can ask me. I have a good news for tonight, I guess. Like I don't know if you guys were here in the last chat where I talked about how our chat's gonna work, and I said something about making interviews with diplomats and foreigners that live here in Brasilia. And today I got the first confirmation. So I'm not sure if next Monday or the Monday after we are gonna have our first interview. It's gonna be a citizen from Trinidad and Tobago that lives here in Brasilia, and I think it's gonna be very interesting to know what he does here in Brazil and to get a little bit about his country too. So during the week, I'm gonna confirm if it's gonna be next Monday or the other one. Good evening, Rui. Welcome to the second chat of the new area of languages, which is called Vai lá e Fala. Go there and speak. Uh, I'm gonna wait just a couple of minutes before we get started. Sport Clube Recife is playing. Okay. Against who? I believe it's Sporting in the second division of the national championship. I gotta be honest that I don't follow very much, but I think they are on the second division. So guys, we are gonna start any minute talking about beer. It's the small presentation that I have for you today. But if you guys wanna start asking me anything about any topic, you can do that. Then we start the presentation. Then we come back for the questions that you might have. You guys already confirmed that the sound is okay, right? The microphone. Okay, guys. So let's get started here. Uh, so we are in our second chat of the new area, Valai Faz. It's an area about languages, and today's chat is going to be all in English. And we're going to talk about beer and other stuff. Okay, I'm going to start with the presentation. and then I'll come back with the chat with some questions that you guys might have. So we are gonna talk today about beer. I'm not an expert in beer, of course. I just know a little bit. I already made a few times in the backyard of some friend's house, and it's interesting. Of course, after we made the beer, we drink it. Of course, a few weeks later, because you have a time to wait for the fermentation and then the carbonation. You have It's a long process. And one thing very important is because you gotta have space for. So, for example, if you want to do it in an apartment, in your kitchen apartment, it's not gonna happen very well. You really need space because you make a lot of mess. All the equipment, they are very big, they are large, and you're gonna work with water, so it's a messed up thing. You gotta have space. So it's good to make if you have a house with a backyard, uh, with a large room. Anyway, so we are gonna talk about beer. Uh, the first topic, we're gonna talk about the ingredients that you have on beer, okay? And I gotta say that the website from Ambev, which is the biggest brewery that we have here in Brazil, and it's an interesting website where they talk about it, and it's a good place to get information about beer. Okay, so ingredients, and we're gonna talk about the types of beer, the fermentation process, and all the kinds of beer. Not all of them, but a few kinds of beers that there are in the world because there are a lot of them. So we're gonna talk just about a couple of them. And the third topic we're gonna about curiosities about beer, uh, which is the most drinkable beer in the world, the countries that drink more beer, and anyway. And the last topic, I'm gonna talk about my experience with beer around the world. Since I know a lot of countries and all of the countries that I went, of course I drink beer because I like it very much, and I like to taste, to try the beers from the country. So it's something that I really focus about. And in the end, I spend a lot of money on it because we know that beer can be very expensive. And anyway, that's gonna be the four topics we're gonna talk about it today regarding beer. So the first one, the ingredients. Okay, what do you need to make beer if you want to make in your backyard, for example, or if you are drinking, you imagine what kind of stuff there are in that liquid that you are drinking. The first one, of course, is water, right? So uh, most of the most of the beer is gonna be water. Uh, Close to 95% is gonna be water, and the other 5% is gonna be alcohol. And here, just one comment that we know that water doesn't taste the same thing here or in any other place, right? So uh, I always heard that if you drink, for example, Antarctica in the northeast of the country, in Fortaleza, for example, the Antarctica over there is going to be different than Antarctica here in Brasilia because the water fountain here is different from there. So you have this difference in tasting. And also, if you are gonna make beer in your backyard, probably uh, it's gonna be dirtier, right? Because you don't have a factory, you don't have like an industry to make beer, so the sanitation is gonna be different. So of course, your beer is gonna be dirtier, it's gonna taste different than the professional beers from the breweries all over the world. So that's one thing about the tasting of the water. The second one, it's the grains, okay? So the grains here you can translate for cereais or simply the malte, right? And it's gonna be the most important thing on the main ingredient, of course, it's gonna be water, but later on, the main ingredient is gonna be the grains. Okay, barley is the most common, uh, which can be translated to cevada. Okay, malte de cevada. It's gonna be barley, and of course you can have you can put other types of grains. Okay, like wheat, corn, and rice. So, but if you're gonna make a beer that it's a single malt, it's gonna be 100% barley. Okay, because it's gonna be only with cevada. And but if you're gonna make like to make a Weiss beer, you're gonna put barley mixed up with wheat. Okay, and if you have like a pilsen, a regular pilsen that it's not single malt, you're gonna have like corn and rice or all the grains that it's not barley. Okay, which if you get the label from for the pilsens here in Brazil, from Antarctica, Skol, Itaipava, for example, you're gonna see over there barley and uh, grains not barley, okay? As cereais maltados e cereais não maltados, né? So that's the types of grains that it's in those beers. The third one, it's gonna be hops, okay? Here, which can be translated to lúpulo, okay? Lúpulo is gonna be the hops. It's what's gonna give you the taste of the beer, okay? So it's responsible for flavor and aroma, okay? The smell of the beer. And of course, it is also a counteract for the sweetness of the beer because if you when you make beer before you put the hops, when you are cooking the grains, right? It's gonna be if you taste it, it's gonna taste like sugar, okay? Because the grain is a type of sugar, okay? And if you start boiling it into the water to start making your beer, it's gonna be very sweet, okay? And so to counteract this sweetness, that's why you put hops, okay? And it's very important to measure, uh, to choose the kind of hop you want to do it, and to measure the quantity of the hops. It's going to be very important in your beer. And it's also a bacterial inhibitor. So hops are very important to give you the flavor that you want in your beer, okay? And later on, you're gonna put the yeast, okay? The yeast, it's gonna be you can translate that for levedura or simply ferment. It's what's gonna make the fermentation process, okay? The yeast is gonna turn sugar into alcohol, okay, and CO2 also. So these are the four main ingredients that you're gonna have in beer. And usually when you are making your own beer in your backyard, you're gonna start you're gonna start trying many kinds of hops and grains, to start playing with which beer you want to do it. Because the water, it's gonna be the same, and usually the yeast too. But it also depends on a lot of things. Anyway, let's get back to the chat if there is any questions about it. Hello, Eric. Good evening. Okay, the chat is in English because this is a chat from the new area that it's called Vai Lá e Fala. It's a chat that we are here to study English. Okay, and so in general, all the chats gonna be in English, but in the future we are gonna be having chats in French also. And the topic beer, it's a random topic. I just choose any topic just so we can begin with with any topic. Like I said on the last chat, we are gonna have all kinds of chats. The first one, the subscribers can demand any topic they want. Later on, I'm gonna try to bring interviews here with foreigners that live here in Brasilia. Okay, so restaurant chefs, school teachers, language teachers, or any other kind of business man that lives here in Brazil that is a foreigner that speaks English or speaks French, and we are going to make interviews with those people. Today I decided to put beer because it was a random topic. I thought it would be interesting for people uh, to know about it because a lot of people like beer. And anyway, but today is also an open topic, so you guys can ask me about anything. Of course, about finances too, financial education, all the companies, doesn't matter. Today I'm gonna be uh, answering also those kind of questions. And okay, let's get back to the presentation and then I'll come back to some more questions. So, types of beer, okay? So guys, here you have like a lot of definitions, okay, depending on what source you're gonna search. And you have different schools. You have the German school, you have the English school, you have the American school. I'm just gonna talk about here about the fermentation process, okay? So we are gonna have two types here, only two types. The first one, it's gonna be the lagers, okay? It's the bottom fermentation that we call, okay? Baixa fermentação. Then the yeast is gonna be at the bottom of the pan, okay, of the recipient that you're gonna be using, okay. And the most famous type of lager is gonna be the Pilsen, okay, and or the Pilsen can be single malt or not. Anyway, and the second type is gonna be the ales, okay. It's also a category of a fermentation process. The yeast is going to be at the top of the recipient, and it's a different type of fermentation. It's gonna what we call in Portuguese alta fermentação. Okay, so here you have more types of beer. You have pale ale, wheat beer, the Weiss, and the stout, and some other ones. Okay, so types of beers. I only brought these two categories, and now we're gonna see some examples of them. The first one, lager, and here I brought the single malt. You're gonna have Heineken, that it's one of the most famous in the world. Okay, it's a Dutch beer. It's from Holland, from Netherlands, and you have also Beck's. Okay, there are two single malts lager that I like very much. That's why I brought them here. And Heineken is pretty common all over the world. And Beck's, I think they came to Brazil like just a few years back. And so here in Brazil, it's recently new. But of course, in Europe, it's pretty famous also. In the Pilsen, it's the most consumed beer in the world. Okay, so not single malt. I brought an example of Corona. Okay, it's a Mexican beer, but today it's part of Ambev, of the Bev. They bought part of the Modelo brewery that it's from Mexico. And another kind here was I brought the Sol, which is also from Mexico, but from a different brewery called Montezuma. I brought those two beers because I like it very much. And they are not single malt, so you're gonna have barley here, and you're gonna have another types of grains. Okay. And for me, what I do when I'm gonna drink a beer, I like to drink the Pilsen, Corona, or Sol during the day. For example, if you are in a beach or in the pool during the day, when you have like a hot sun, I like to drink the Pilsen. I don't think it's a heavy drink to a heavy beer to drink. Different from the lagers, single malt like Heineken or Beck's, which I prefer to drink it during the night. I think they are a little they have this bitterness that I prefer to drink during the night. Okay. Another kind is gonna be the wheat beer. Okay. For example, you have Hogarden. Now, a lot of people say that it's the best beer in the world. And another example is Vedette. Okay. So wheat beer, the composition of the beer, it's barley and wheat. Okay. but you also have the orange scrapes and coriander leaves. Okay, the translation here it's gonna be cevada, wheat, it's gonna be trigo, right? And orange scrapes is gonna be raspas de laranja with the coentro, right? Coriander leaves is gonna be folhas de coentro. So it's the recipe to make a wheat beer. I like very much of Hogarden. The vedette is pretty good also, but it's very expensive, so it's not something I'm gonna have in my refrigerator. But Hogarden nowadays it's more accessible financially speaking. So it's a beer that I drink a lot. And some people say, one time I was at a famous brewery here in Brasilia, and the owner told me that usually it's like the benchmark for the beer contests. So if you're gonna have a contest of beer, of a wheat beer, that is gonna be the benchmark that all the judges are gonna comparing the beer that you are producing to the vedette. Okay? So next one, it's gonna be the Weiss beer. It's barley and wheat, okay? And I put here the Weiss Stefana. It's a famous one, but here in Brazil, not very famous. It's a little bit expensive. The half a liter bottle, it's gonna be around 30 reais, 25 reais, something like that. Here in Brazil, of course, you're gonna try it in a bar. It's gonna be much more expensive, around 40 reais. But it's the oldest beer in the world. Okay, it's the oldest one. Uh, it's from a German brewery. Okay, and it's a Weiss beer. It is my favorite beer in the world. I think it's very very tasteful. If you buy like a national Weiss beer, for example, from Eisenbach, which has a nice Weiss beer. I like the Weiss beer from Eisenbach. I think it's okay. But if you drink the Weiss beer from Eisbach and then you drink the Weiss Stefana, you're gonna feel a huge difference on the level of the beers. So I really think Weiss Stefana is the best beer in the world, and it's my favorite. And then you have Paulani, which is more common. I think it's more famous here in Brazil. Uh, it's also expensive here. You can buy for like 20, 22 reais. But if you go to Germany, you're gonna buy for like 80 cents of euro, of 1 euro. So over there it's pretty cheap. Here it's very expensive for us. And the next one, it's the stout beer. I just brought here because Guinness is a very famous beer. I don't like stout beer, uh, but it's pretty famous in Europe. They drink a lot, especially in Great Britain, right? In the United Kingdom, it's an Irish beer. And the stout beer, you have a barley, okay, but you have to like overcook the barley. The more you cook the barley, it's gonna be uh, it's gonna get like darker. So it's gonna start look like a grain of coffee, and that's why all the stout, usually most of the stout beers, they have like a taste of coffee. I don't like it, but it's very very famous in Europe, especially in Great Britain, that it's from Ireland. But it's a beer to drink during the cold. That's why in Europe it's very famous, because it's like more a strong beer that usually people prefer to drink during the cold. So since the winter over there it's pretty rough, it's a very famous beer to drink. Okay, let's get back here to the questions. We don't have any new questions. Okay, and now guys, we are gonna go back to the presentation. So curiosities about beer. Okay, the first one, top 10 most consumed beers in the world. This is the survey that I'm gonna get. It's from 2016, but I think it's okay for us to see it. Let me close all this advertising here. I don't know why they're here. Anyway, the top 10 beers most consumed in the world. And of course, here we're gonna make some parentheses, right, guys? So the first one, it's gonna be the Chinese called snow, okay? I never been to China. I think probably it's the only place that we're gonna find this beer, or maybe in some countries in Southeast Asia, okay? But I know that in Brazil they don't have, as far as I'm concerned, they don't have here this beer, Snow. And why is it the most consumed beer in the world? Because China has 1.5 billion people, so uh, we don't have any comments on that. It's like why Mandarin is the most uh, spoken language in the world. It's the same reason, right? So Snow from China is the most consumed. The second one is also from China. Okay, they are both Pilsen. Okay, they are both Pilsen beers. The third one is Bud Light from the U.S. If you ever been to the U.S., you probably have seen Bud Light in all bars that you've been to and advertises all over the place. Uh, I had a friend that I work here in Ambev. Since Bud Light is together with Budweiser, right? And it's the fourth in our list. But they are together, and Ambev it's from the same group of the Budweiser, right? The AB InBev brewery, Anheuser-Busch, that bought part of the. Actually, it was the other way around. The Interbrew bought part of the AB Anheuser-Busch and become the big company. In Brazil, we have the one part of that it's the Ambev. And this friend that worked over there, he told me that Bud Light was their number one in the US and in the world. So our fifth is gonna be Skol here in Brazil. Né? We know that this beer it's the most consumed here in Brazil, and also because of the price, and it's a pilsen, so it's the most common here. And Brazil, it's a big market, right? We have over 2 million people here, so it's a very big market. Later on, we go back to China, Yanjing. I don't know any of this beer, I've never been to China. And then Heineken, of course, here I have some comments to do. It's the seventh from the list, it's from Holland. But this is one beer that I've seen in every country that I've been to. Okay, so here in South America, uh, in Bolivia, for example, in Chile, Uruguay. If you go to Southeast Asia, in Thailand, Malaysia, any place in Europe, any place in the West, you're gonna find Heineken. Okay, so for me, if you ask me which is the most broadcast spreaded beer in the world, I'm gonna say Heineken because that's what I've seen. I don't know if it is true, if it is actually Heineken, but it's the one that I've seen in most of the countries. It's the beer that I think it's the easier to find in anywhere you go. Okay, and then China again, Harbin, then Brahma here from Brazil, and the Coors Light. Coors Light, it's like the Brahma from the US. Okay, like Budweiser and Bud Light's gonna be Skol, Coors Light's gonna be like Brahma. Okay, it's pretty famous in Brazil. I lived in the US for a couple of months when I was 21 years old, and I worked in a bar. And in the bar that I was, Coors Light was the most consumed over there. So it's a pretty strong beer in the US. Okay, then later on we're gonna have the top 10 countries that consume more beers. Okay, we talk about the beers itself. Now we're gonna talk about the countries. So the list is also from 2016. Okay, so the country. This is a per capita index. Okay, so we're gonna the numbers here are gonna be per person. Okay, so it's per capita. And the Czech Republic is going to be the first country that drinks beer, okay? And the Czech Republic is the country where it's the birth of the Pilsen beer. Okay, so that beer from the photo here, the Pilsner, it's the most famous Pilsen beer in the world, and it was born over there in Czech Republic. The second one is gonna be Germany, and over there, usually the Weiss beer is gonna be like the main beer that they drink over there. Usually they drink more stronger beers than here, but Germany is the second one. Then Estonia is gonna be some small countries that I've never been to, but the, fourth, the third is gonna be Estonia. Later on, Ireland. I never been to Ireland, but other countries that I visit in Europe, I met some Irish guys, and all of them always drink a lot, a lot. And definitely Ireland's gonna it's gonna be a place that people drinks a lot. If you see any movies about that have an Irish pub, the people are always drinking very much. And then Romania later on between then Belgium. Belgium is like it's like a big producer of beers, uh, especially Weiss beers and special and strong ales too. So if you go to like special house of beers here in Brazil, especially in Brazil, it's the stores that I know, you're gonna have like a big section of Belgian beers and a big section sector of German beers. So they are like competitors with the types of beers. If you go to Belgium, everyone's gonna say that the Belgian beer is gonna be the best in the world. But if you go to German, everyone's gonna say that uh, the beers, the German beer is gonna be the best in the world. So this is it. Uh, and then I'm not gonna talk about this Corona thing. Uh, anyway, so guys, I'm gonna talk a little bit some curiosities, my experience with beer around the world, and let me get back to the chat here. So, Érico, the correct form of word cerveja in English is beer with two e's. Beer with is in German. Yes, I know. I know that some of the slides I spell wrong, but I make this kind of mistake. Well, great check. Okay, thanks, guys. So, guys, just to finish our chat, if you guys have any other questions, I just gotta make. I'd like to. I just wanna know if you guys ever seen the movie Inglorious Bastards. Let's put here in YouTube. I wanna make a comment about it regarding beer. So there is a scene Inglorious Bastards uh, basement scene. Let's see if I can get it. This is the exactly scene that I want, where he asks for 3 shots of whiskey. Let me check. And he makes a mistake. Where is? So guys, this is the scene that I want to talk about. Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen this. I can close this. So guys, I don't know if you guys have seen this scene of the movie, uh, which they are in German, okay, during the World War II. And this is a movie from Quentin Tarantino, and they are gonna drink a whiskey, okay. And this first soldier here, he's gonna ask for 3 glasses, okay, for 3 glasses of whiskey. But you see the how he asked for the 3 glasses. He's gonna use the three fingers in the middle to ask for these glasses. And in the end, later on in another scene, this German guy, this Nazi guy with the black suit in front of him, sees that he asks the 3 glasses like that, okay? And this is a wrong way to ask in German because they don't ask they don't use the number 3 like the position of the hand that this guy made, okay? I'm gonna put the video here to explain better, okay? I'm showing this scene because it happened to me in Czech Republic. That's why I want to talk about it. So let me get back here, guys. What I was explaining about this scene, it's when he's gonna ask for 3 glasses. He makes like this. He makes this move like here, 1, 2, 3. But in German, you don't do like this. You do like this. Okay, if you're gonna ask for 3. And this is a very interesting movie if you want to check it out later. And I'm just talking about this because it happened to me in Czech Republic. Okay, I was in a pub and I went to the. It was very crowded at the time. Okay, and I went to the counter to ask for 2 beers. Okay, it wasn't 3. I was gonna ask for 2 beers, and I made it like this. Okay, it was crowded. It was dark because it was a pub, like a disco, a nightclub, and I made it like this. When I made it like this, the bartender, he thought that he just inferred that this finger was here. Okay, when I made it like this, he thought the finger was here, and he gave me 3 beers. Okay, and I did like this, and he understood the beer that I wanted. Okay, I don't remember at the time, probably Heineken, I don't know, but I made like 2, and he gave me 3. And I said, I didn't ask for 3, I asked only for 2. And when I made like this, he explained to me the same thing that the movie explains. Okay? Over there, if you're gonna ask for 2, you're gonna do like this. You're not gonna do like this. Okay? So this wasn't Germany, it was in Czech Republic. Uh, but of course, you have a lot of German culture inside the Czech Republic. So it's an interesting thing that I learned over there that I wanted to share here. That was regarding beer. And okay, let me get back to the chat. Later on, you can watch the movie. It's an amazing movie by Quentin Tarantino, and this is the best scene of the movie. Guys, this is what I wanted to present today. Okay, I don't know if you guys like beer as much as I do and wanted to know a little bit about, but I just made this chat. The most important thing is to learn the vocabulary, a new vocabulary uh, that I presented here today, and of course to test your listening. So I'm gonna be here just for a few minutes if you guys want to ask me about anything. And like I said in the beginning of the chat, probably next Monday we are gonna have our first interview, okay, with a citizen from Trinidad and Tobago, and we are gonna talk a little bit about his country, what he does here in Brazil, and that's how I want to keep with our chats, with interviewing different persons from all over the world, okay. And of course, later on, I'm gonna talk also about finances, always in English, but we are also going to start studying some of the vocabulary uh, that surrounds the investments and stock market and things like that. Okay? So, guys, I'm gonna be here for a few minutes if you wanna guys wanna ask anything regarding beer or any trips or something with the stock market and any company. I'll be here a few minutes waiting for you guys. If not, this is gonna be the end of it in a few minutes. So guys, this is gonna be the end of it. Thank you for your participation. And any any demands that you have, any topics that you wanna talk, you wanna learn in English, you can you can open a topic in the area that I follow. That I can make I can prepare the presentation on the topic that you guys ask. Okay? So I'll see you next Monday with our next chat. Okay? Bye bye.